That's
already
blue.
I think.
309.
It looks good.
Oak.
You look sharp.
It's one that's gonna be It's
We're waiting
yearly.
on it. We're
I
waiting
was
on
gonna
s-
say
Oh,
the
there we
same
are.
thing.
There we are. You ready? Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone to the Tuesday, October 8th, 2024 meeting of the City of Danville Public Works Committee. Roll call, please.
Alderman Bob Iverson,
Here.
Mike O'Kane,
Here.
Jim Pichard,
Here.
Carolyn Wands,
Present.
Heidi Wilson,
Present.
Ed Butler,
Present.
Chairman Mike Poor,
Present.
7 present.
7 present. We do have a quorum. Item number 2 is the approval of the minutes. These will be from September 10th, 2024. If there are no corrections, I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, moving on to item number 3, approval of the agenda. There are no removals from the agenda, so need a motion to approve the agenda as presented, please.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you. Item number 4, Madam Clerk, audience comments.
Mr. Johnson, did you want to speak this evening? Okay, thank you.
Bill, no? All righty, Chairman's comments. Just enjoy this beautiful weather. You know, the, of course, Covered Bridge Festival's coming pretty shortly. So, we always know it's October when that happens. Moving on to item number 6, approval of the payrolls. These be from October 4th, 2024. Need a motion a second, please?
So moved.
Second.
Questions on the payrolls? Say none. Roll call, please.
Alderman Wands,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Butler,
Yes.
Iverson, O'Kane,
Yes.
Pichard,
Yes.
Poor,
Yes.
7 yes.
7 yes, thank you. Item number 7 will be approval of the vouchers payable. We have a special run from October 7th, 24, and October 8th, regular payables. Need a motion to put those on the table, please?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions on the payables? Okay, seeing none, roll call, please.
Alderman Wilson,
Yes.
Butler,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Pichard,
Yes.
Wands,
Yes.
Poor,
Yes.
7 yes.
7 yes, thank you. Moving on to item number 8, Finance. Comptroller Sweeten, we have 8A, a resolution amending expenditure methods for DCEO Downtown Revitalization Grant. Need a motion and a second, please?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, anything special?
All right, I've been elected to speak on this.
All righty.
So, okay, so trying to make a very confusing subject simple. Basically, what has happened is our previous city engineer, who shall remain unnamed, has set up a funding for the project in a different way than the funding for the grant was set up. All of the money being spent will be the same. It's just in the grant funding, we set it up, the budget for the grant, we set up $280,000 to be spent towards engineering services. So the way we had it set up was the entire grant would be expended on construction and we would just pay for the engineering services. So now we're basically gonna swap in order to stay in line with the grant. So
Yeah.
that's a
Same money,
layman's terms for sure.
Nothing changed other than the language and
Yeah.
the account.
Yep. So same money, just coming from different spots.
Any questions? Okay, roll call on 8A, please.
Alderman Butler,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Pichard,
Yes.
Wands,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Poor,
Yes.
7 yes.
7 yes, thank you. 8B is an ordinance amending Chapter 39 Personnel Policies. Need a motion and a second, please?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, this is something we've talked about in the past. Mayor?
So, as you all know, we've discussed in the past a number of times the possibility of changing our hours for City Hall. Just today, I took a picture at lunchtime, and we had about 4 or 5 vehicles out there of people waiting to come in and do business with the city. And the difficulty is, I think I do have one, yes. I apologize. Didn't see them come in. Sorry. every day we have people come trying to do business with us during the lunch hour. And people get often very frustrated. It's something that I had many calls about when I was an alderman, and all the more so about when I'm mayor. Oftentimes you're leaving for lunch or coming in for lunch, and people are like, why can't I get in there? This is really frustrating to me. So one of the things we did was we worked with the clerical union to possibly change hours. We got it in their contract so that we could change hours, but it has to be changed with our personnel policy, which is a part of Chapter 39. Right now, we have a lot of people who want to do business with us who can't do business with us because they're working the same hours that we are working. And if they want to come and pick up an application for, or pay their taxes or things like that, or to pay their bills, they're not able to do it a lot of times in person because we are closed when they are closed. And that's created a lot of issues for us. So we proposed changing from Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30, being closed from noon to 1, to change it to Monday through Thursday from 7:30 to 5:30, and only being closed from 12 to 12:30. That would allow people 30 or more minutes to come in and do their business with the city before they go to work. It would allow them almost an additional hour to come and do business with the city in the evening time after they get off work. It would also give those people who can only come in during lunchtime an opportunity to do so as well. Additionally, we, as suggested, we did do a survey, as suggested Vice Mayor, and you can see the results of that survey here. About a third of the folks in City Hall said that they wanted to keep hours the same, and 2/3 said that they wish to make changes. On the back of the sheet that you have there, you can see why various individuals reported wanting to either keep things the way they were or to change things. I've also provided for you a copy of an article that was provided in this time last year in the Illinois Municipal League magazine, and it just talked about some of the recruitment and retention challenges that we have in terms of the workforce and what various other entities are doing about it. You can see, although it's page 18 of the magazine, you can see it's page 2 of your handout, that one of the things that they've implemented is flexible work practices, with 58% reporting to hybrid scheduling. Now, I would never recommend that we have hybrid scheduling where we have people working from home. We need to be here to look at people to serve the public. However, if we could offer some type of scheduling flexibility, I think that would help us not only recruit but retain people. We've had 7 different individuals in our billing and collection specialist positions already, and one of the reasons 3 of the 4 who left cited was because of having more flexibility with their work hours. So not only in my mind is this a way for us to better serve the public, but it's also a way for us to keep and to recruit staff members here at the city of Danville.
Mayor, there was some confusion. This is only the clerical part. It's not the inspectors, correct?
That's correct. The inspectors have a different agreement, and they would continue to work 5 days per week. So we would not be leaving. I know that was one of the concerns you all had, and I did too. Leaving 3 days a week where we don't have the inspectors on the streets. This would not change their hours at all.
I have a
Alderman
question.
Butler.
Yes, I see on this one here where it says from 12:30 till, from 7:30 till to 5:30, got a half an hour lunch. And then you got, what's that, number 9, from 8 o'clock till 4:30 with an hour lunch. Had they always had an hour lunch? No, they're gonna be, just have a half an hour lunch, from 7:30 to 5:30, as
Yeah.
opposed of 8 o'clock to 4:30.
That is correct, yes, sir. And as you can see, 2/3 of our employees favored that option.
Yeah, so all of them, then agreed to it, is what you're saying?
Not all of them, Mr. Butler.
Yeah,
Out of
but the majority.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
How many were surveyed, sir?
We sent it to all of the city hall, which I believe there are 30, and we had 6 that didn't respond. Of the 24 that responded, 15 said Yes, they wanted the change. 9 said no, they did not want the change.
Thank you.
Chairman, I think Alderwoman.
Alderman,
I just have a couple questions. One, why have we not surveyed the public? Because that's who we need to be thinking about as well. And is there a possibility of keeping it Monday through Friday, taking it from everybody not being here in the building for a whole hour to staggering lunch hours?
That was one of the things that we did propose to the union, Alderwoman. The problem is that there were safety issues in the past. We've had some issues. You have to think in some places there are only 1 or 2 people in the office. So if they're out, then and the rest of the building is open, then people are expecting to do business there, and there's nobody there. Or you have one person who's by themselves. That presents a safety issue. They had some issues with the police needing to be called a couple of times prior to me being here, and also within my first year or two, we had to call 1 or 2 times as well. And that was one of the things that we proposed to the union, and they did not accept it for that safety reason. That's why they did not accept it.
Okay. And what about surveying the public? Where are we with that?
We hadn't done that.
Alderman.
When we talked about this before, afterwards, I did get a few phone calls. I don't remember, it was 5 or 6 phone calls. Every one of them said they didn't want to see it happen, and I got no phone calls that said, yes, I think it's a good idea. But that's a very small amount of, of the public's, but the ones that did speak to me were not in favor of it.
Alderman,
Is this just City Hall? Because Public Works, is your building closed on Fridays?
Our building's currently not closed on Fridays. Administrator Kronk and his team, and then engineering are working on Fridays. Currently is how that works. So we would probably kind of sit down and go over the inspectors are part of the same union as the code enforcement is. So
Operations is closed though.
operations is closed
yours-
already. That's
so
already.
the vast majority of the employees are not there on Fridays.
So if people want like a sticker for their garbage yard waste,
We can still do it.
Yeah.
you can still do that?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it possible, I like the idea of a 4-day work week. I used to work some of those at the U of I. But the difference is, my job or whoever was not there didn't go empty for a day. Somebody switched around. So is it possible to have a 4-day week, but some people are off Monday and some are off Friday? That way it's open Monday through Friday for the public. And I think the other aldermen have said, yeah, I can see why the employees want to do it. I liked it. Mine was only every other Friday because of the switching. And if someone wanted to choose, like 38% of them want to keep it 8 hours. Could they keep it 5 days a week, and could they work? Or will they be forced to go to 4-day weeks?
The way the union contract is written, it has to be one or the other. And as far as having some people switch days off, that would create the same situation that Alderwoman Wilson asked about, where you would have sometimes one person or nobody in the office if we were to do that. So unfortunately, that's not an option. It is one that we discussed, that we advocated for, but we were not successful.
You know, most of the city employees have a 4-day weekend, not police and fire, obviously. And that's fine, but we also, this building is a place where people come for certain services. And yeah, we say, oh, it'll be more convenient because it'll be open later at night. Not for someone who was hoping to do whatever on Friday. That's going to be closed always. I'm very much in a quandary on this because, like I said, I've worked 4-day work weeks, and they're a good idea for the employees, but we're a very public building and a very public service, And I'm not sure this proposal actually makes it better for the public, as we hope it does. It may just make it more confusing to the public. And I'm not quite sure yet which way I want to go on this, to be honest.
Well, like I said, the reason this came about originally was because of complaints from the public that have been ongoing since, in my 15 years with the city, in one capacity or another, and saying, look, we want to come there during lunch and pay our bill, or to pick up our liquor license for our wedding or whatnot, and they can't do that, or they just are limited in the hours they can because they're working when we do. I think it affects working folks much more than it affects folks who are retired. And folks who are retired generally tend to have a little bit more flexibility as to when they can go and see things. But working folks, it's tough. But I understand, because there are pros and cons to both sides of it. But the other big thing for me, honestly, is just being able to recruit and retain employees. In a society where you have a mobile workforce, where you can get a job making the same amount or more working from home, and then you don't have to have daycare because your child can stay there, or those types of things. That's what we're competing with nowadays. So if for me, number one, we can better serve the public, and number two, if we can keep and retain and recruit employees, if it allows us a tool to do that, I think it's worth it in the end. But I understand your concerns. I understand everyone's concerns.
If you think you can stay at home with your kid and get any work done, you obviously haven't tried doing it.
My sister did with 3 kids and ran her own business internationally, where she, had to train people in different time zones around the world. So I know it's tough, but it can be done.
Alderman O'Kane. Alderman O'Kane has the floor.
What hours were you proposing to be open?
From 7:30 to noon, and then 12:30 to 5:30, Monday through Thursday.
Okay, so that's 9.5 hours.
Yes, sir.
And you're going to pay them for 10.
Yes, sir. Under this proposal, they would actually be working 30 minutes more per week than they do currently. Because currently we work 7.5 hour days, so that's 37.5 hours. So actually, we'll be getting 30 hours more of work out of our team members. 30 minutes, yes, not hours. Although what I can tell you is, if you're here any given time, you will see most of these folks here well after their work hours, and oftentimes well before their work hours.
And, I'd rather see them open on Friday and closed on Monday, because people get paid on Friday, and that's when they have money to run down here and everything else. I don't like the 4-day week to start off with, but to me, it doesn't make sense to be closed on Friday when people got money in their pocket, and that's when they'd have time to do something.
Last time this issue came up, Ashlyn Massey was comptroller. She gave me an office downstairs to interview every one of the people that was involved in this. And it was a mixed bag about who wanted what. Bottom line was, they liked their job, were happy with their job, and they said that it wouldn't matter which way it went, they would not leave. Now, that was back before. I don't know where they stand at now. So it should be important also that we make an effort to keep them. If that's what they want, so be it. I've got mixed bag about that too, about we should be available to the public 5 days a week, but how do you do it?
Vice Mayor T.
There are 2 concerns that I have about this. So one is, well, I guess there's really one major concern, which is how we serve the public. So one of the things that I know prior to my moving back to Danville, but while I still had property and business with the city of Danville, I would often travel to Danville for extended weekends, and I would leave on Friday morning to be here by close of business on Friday, to then go into legal and do my rental registration or whatever other business I had to take care of on a Friday. And so my biggest concern is shutting down on Fridays because of that, because I know that there are probably many other people who look at running their business in the same way, that if they're going to do business with the city, they're either going to do it on a Monday or on a Friday. And if they're a person who's from out of town but need to come here, that is probably their MO. The second biggest concern I have, and I do recall when we talked about this before, and at that time I asked Ashlyn to prepare for me some data on when payments were occurring. And the top day that payments occurred was on Monday, but the second most populous day for when payments were occurring was on Fridays. And so what she prepared for me, and I pulled it up from my email, this is data that she prepared from May 1st to August 4th of 2023, because this is the last time we talked about it. And what she did was, and I'll be happy to share it with anybody who didn't get this from her when she prepared it, she put every day of the weekend, and then she circled the days that were due dates. So on Monday, which is the day we most often got payments, there were 709 payments, and there were 2 due dates that fell on Monday. On Friday, which was the second date, there were 618 payments, but no due dates that fell on a Friday, which leads me to believe that Friday, if a due date had fallen on a Friday, it probably would have been an even higher number. There were 618 payments on Fridays, 709 payments on Mondays. Tuesday, and then the third was Thursday, which was 591. It also had one where there was a payment that fell. A due date that fell. So looking at these numbers, we don't serve the public very well by closing on Mondays or Fridays if those are the 2 most popular days in which people come to pay us. And the fact that we're taking payments here in our building and we took that back in, it actually hurts the cause of making sure that we get paid. And so that is my biggest concern. And it's not just because I think it is, because the data supports it. And so we have to look at, I get that people are waiting 30 minutes or they're waiting during their lunchtime, but if in this realm of payments, and you're talking about, let's see, I haven't crunched these numbers to see what percentage it is of the overall payments in this time period. I can do that before next week's meeting. But it's still a significant number.
To Vice Mayor's point, I could also, and I intend to do this, and it's just been so crazy busy, but we could also, Comptroller, if we could maybe have our team update those numbers for us for a more recent period to see if that trend holds true, I think that would be helpful to the cause.
Yes, and we need to make sure that it's a lengthy period. The reason why I like this data set is because it's an entire quarter. So we've got, like I said, May 1st through August 4th.
Absolutely.
Alderman Pickering? Nothing? And there's no way to, if we did say open all week, Monday through Friday, 9 to 1, and 2 to 5:30, or some other, still get an hour lunch, but not have it on the traditional lunch break, noon to 1.
We also discussed that with the union, and they were not keen on that idea, but
we're trying to keep safety as a concern and still let people have an hour lunch, but.
I want to make it a half-hour lunch, but
That's what I wanted to have.
but close a half hour earlier in the afternoon or open it. But if you make
Because
it,
I too
because
have
lunch is
been-
when they all come in. Yeah.
we discussed like extensive different options with them, and in the end, these were the only 2 that they were amenable to, unfortunately. And they have that body has the largest number of employees impacted by this, whatever decision that we make.
But I know I've been here, picking up mail or whatever over the lunch hour, the number of people sitting in the lot pissed off because they can't get in because we're not open, over there noon to 1 or early in the morning, it just, that's a concern as well.
What just came to me, what if we added an hour to the ending of the day and opened up an hour later?
That's kind of what I was saying.
Those are,
That would give the people an extra hour at the end of the day to pay, and most of them are off work by then,
yeah.
rather than cutting a day or.
I
it's
understand
just
it. I
a
don't
thought.
think that that's a bad idea at all. But again, we threw around almost every scenario that you can think of with
Okay.
the union, and these were the only two options they were willing to leave things the same, or to make this change. Those were the. We looked at a half day on Friday. We looked at and being open during the lunch hour, so we could be open on the lunch hour. Like, we looked at everything that y'all have said, and then other things that we haven't even talked about. We discussed so many different options, but couldn't come to anything. Chairman, I think Mr. Butler and then
Alderman
Mrs.
Butler,
Pickering.
and then
Yes, I'm trying to understand, the contract or the agreement, if we can change the times and the dates and hours, and it does not stipulate, I presume, in the contract or the agreement. You had, what was that, 13 to 9, 13, 4, and 9 again?
15
Yeah,
to 9.
15 to 9. I mean, those 9, and we're talking about working on Fridays. I mean, if those 9 want to work the 5 days and not participate in the 7:30, I mean, we've done changed the hours and the times anyhow. And so I like to know what the contract says about that they can't,
Mr. Butler, what the contract says is, it says either or. It says either we keep hours the same as they are, 8 to 4:30, with being closed from noon to 1, Monday through Friday, or if the city council would vote for it, we have the option of 7:30 to 5:30, Monday through Thursday, being closed from 12 to 12:30 for lunch. That is what the union voted on and voted for as part of their contract, and what y'all voted for and approved as part of their contract. So in their union contract, in their CBA, it says it's either one of these two options. There aren't other options at all. It's either keep it as it is, or go to the four 10-hour days. That's what their contract says. And we threw all these other options out there to them, different things, the different combinations you all talked about. We talked about a half day on Friday. That way we could still be open during the lunch. Because the bottom line for me is, I want to be able to make sure we serve our people. Every day, if I'm outside, I see people who are angry during lunch. And I've had people bust me out. It doesn't make sense that what about the working person? What about the working man when I'm leaving the building or when I'm coming in from lunch? I don't have time to sit around here and wait for this, and so to me, the number one thing is how do we best serve our public? And then number two, we have to have people to serve the public. So how do we what are the ways that we can help keep our employees? I can't offer anybody a remote work option, right? That's out. I would never, ever support anything like that. So what are some things that we can do with their schedule to help their work-life balance? And you can see a lot of the reasons, a lot of the people who wanted change put more information about why they wanted the change on here and how it would help them and their families, So if we can, in my mind, better serve the public and also help recruit and retain our employees, then that's something we should consider. But I understand we might have different thoughts on how we're able to accomplish that.
and so then, as Vice Mayor Tigg said, those other 600 and something people that pay on Friday, I suppose they're gonna be ticked off that they can't come in on Friday and pay their bill to where that they get paid. Also, with the contracts, they'll be able to get a permit as well on Friday.
They cannot get a permit from City Hall anyway, so they have to go to Public Works. And yes,
We're still open.
Yeah, I mean,
we're still-
at the Public Works, I mean, that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we're still open, and
Yeah.
through this ordinance would still be open. It wouldn't impact our hours.
Okay.
it's only City Hall.
You just sit there.
Yeah.
And my guess would be that I don't know about you all, maybe sometimes I pay bills last minute, but almost never. my guess is that a lot of those people that paid on Friday were paying on Friday in anticipation of having their bills due on Monday, but I could be wrong. Because most people I know don't usually wait till the last minute to pay their bills, but
But a lot of people get paid on Friday.
The data doesn't show that any of those bills were due on Friday or on Monday. Only twice were those bills due on Monday. I think those people are paying on Friday because that's when they get paid.
Yeah.
Chairman, I know
Okay.
Mrs. Pickering.
Alderman Pickering.
I know when we had this discussion before, we talked about the Dropbox, and I know there was problems with the Dropbox, but can we go to the Dropbox and make it a better Dropbox?
I'm
Would that
sure-
take care of the problem?
I'm sure that we could fix the Dropbox, and definitely in the new city hall, we could make one that would work well, so that folks could then submit their payments other times.
Might I just add, and take this for what it is, because obviously we're a little bit different here. So just two observations that I have, having worked the 410 schedule, and then also I wanted to give Logan an opportunity, because him and I have had multiple discussions over just the foot traffic that comes in on Fridays. So I would say prior, just from working at Public Works prior to us switching to 410s, we did have pretty regular traffic flows every day. I don't know, we didn't really keep data, it just appeared that way. However, I would say we switched to 410s. The traffic flow has definitely changed. I'll let him speak to that. But I would say, so, I mean, I've been on the 410 schedule now for quite a few years. Before we switched, I was pretty indifferent. I didn't really care because I had always worked 5 days a week, and that's all I knew. And that's the biggest thing I would just say is that when we voted that in, or when it was voted, I think it was a pretty, if I recall, it was a pretty mixed bag of people wanting and not wanting to switch to 410s in operations. I know right now, just from conversations I've had, I think there's only like 2 people that would still prefer to go back to 5/8s. But I can tell you this, that you'd be hard pressed to try to, talk someone like myself into switching back to 5/8s now that I've worked it. So I think that there's a reality that people don't quite understand, that once they've worked it, also it helps a lot. But I will say, as far as recruitment goes and us getting new employees as we have job openings, that's the number one sales, that's the number one reason people have taken pay cuts to come and work for us, because of the 410 schedule. So I'm just throwing that out there. That's just, I know that's not the main point and not your main thought process. I'm just throwing it out there as a something that we've observed. And then I wanted Logan to just maybe talk a little bit about what he's talked to me about in the past, foot traffic wise.
Just for an observation, we've noticed on Fridays that it's a very, very limited amount of individuals coming in to get permits or even yard waste stickers. I could very easily count them. That's how few it is. And even to that point, if our administrative assistant is out of the office on vacation or sick leave, we still aren't able to serve the public for the public works side of things on Fridays anyway. I will say, I would say there's a far more throughout the week that are waiting in the parking lot at Public Works waiting to get a permit because the doors are locked for an entire hour than there are that come in on Fridays to get a permit. That's just an observation that I've seen. I would say that the engineering staff, especially during the warmer months, would still have to, and they're not in a union contract, so they can adjust their schedules. They would have to be, during the warm months, present for project management. Alderman O'Kane, you had a question.
How many people do you have collecting money and what at one time?
On Fridays, 1.
So
Well, but
they
there's,
could do one,
but
but we can't do
there's
one
people
here.
there, that's different, because there's people in offices within eyesight. There's 3 different people in offices
Oh.
within eyesight.
Right.
Don't we have glass? Didn't we spend money on put glass walls up and little slots and stuff?
There is a glass wall, yeah.
They have a new one, which is,
Well, ours is only a few years old, isn't it?
can people, I don't know, but all I'm saying
Would I
is,
trust it with an irate person in the lobby? No.
Well,
well,
There's people there though. They're not alone.
I understand.
I understand your point. The bottom line is the union wouldn't go for it. The union didn't vote for it.
Yeah.
I mean, and they don't, and the reason they said is they don't feel safe.
So, yeah.
And this is just an opinion. I would be in favor of looking at this at a later date when we get into our new building, where perhaps, as Alderman Pickering said, the drop box might be more of a possibility. We might have other possibilities. For this particular moment, I am not for changing it. Number one is because of the few phone calls I've got that didn't want it. I feel that as public servants that we ought to be there for the public, and it's not on our time, it's on their time. And no, I don't think we should drag ourselves to death to serve the public, but I do think that when we are in the position of working to serve the public, that we need to serve the public and not serve ourselves.
Vice Mayor T.
Two things. So one, I did crunch the numbers really quickly. So the most populous day, which was Monday, was 24% of the payments. The second most populous day, which was Friday, was 21% of the payments. The least populous day, which was Tuesday, was 15.7% of the payments. So my question is, does it stipulate Monday or Friday, or does it just stipulate 4? Because if it stipulates 4, then my argument would be, then why make it Friday? Why not make it Tuesday, since that's the day that people least likely come to pay?
I wish it did stipulate 4. Unfortunately, it does not. It says either Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30, with 1 hour lunch closed from noon to 1, or Monday through Thursday, 7:30 to 5:30, with a 30-minute lunch from 12 to 12:30.
Okay, thank you.
And Monday's a holiday, what happens? You're closed Monday and Thursday, Monday and Friday?
Yeah, maybe.
Comptroller, can you do a breakdown too? I mean, cash versus check, do we track that? So we knew what, if people are coming in with cash, or if they're coming in with check, or how they're paying, or debit card, or, I mean, just, you know, if we have people actually bringing cash in to pay, or a debit card to pay, or something, we'd actually have to have a person handling money. Okay. Alderman Butler.
Yes, now we're changing this, and, you know, I know Dave said something about, you know, once he done got used to the shift, you don't want to change. Is there a possibility, because we said that we're trying to help the community, the people, and if the people, those 600 and some people said that I pay my bills on Friday when I get paid, is there a possibility that it could be changed back?
Yes, sir. That's a good question, Mr. Butler. And it says in the contract that if for some reason the city does not work out for the city, and that could be whatever reason, the public isn't for it, we decide that it doesn't work well for our team to serve the public better or whatnot, whatever reason, we can change it back one time. So we just have to give them notification. So if we get 6 months into this and we say this is not serving the public well like we thought it would, we're still getting the same kind of complaints or whatever, we could change it back. Yes, sir. We can do it according to the contractual agreement. We can change it back one time, but then we wouldn't be able to change it again for the rest of the contract, which I think is fair. And I think that's it's fair to our union.
Can't bounce back and forth.
Right, exactly. And also we don't want to confuse the public either.
And the contract's 3 years and 4 years.
Which we just signed last year, so, yes, sir.
I think with Public Works, it was only for this part, or daylight savings time, was when it was the 10
so,
hours, then it
yeah.
went back to 8.
Yeah, it used to be that way. The union actually wanted to push it to
They like
year-round, yeah.
Like the
So we
4
do,
days,
yeah,
4
we do.
10-hour days, so much more they.
Yeah, I think 2 or
eliminated.
3 contracts ago, we went to year-round, yeah.
But I mean, originally it was set up to.
Yep, yep.
How many Monday holidays do we have? Anybody know?
So I've actually, when we were in contract negotiations, I can just tell you the way they switch, and basically it all evens out at the end of the year as far as hours go for employment. Now that doesn't mean necessarily anything else. What I was doing it for was people wanted, like the union members wanted to know, well, are we are we gonna have a disadvantage of holidays that we miss out on not getting to observe? Because if a holiday falls on a Friday, you worked your 40 hours already where City Hall's closed and gets paid, but, you know, you've already worked your 40, you don't get it. But if it falls on a Monday or something, you get your 10 hours off and you're worked 30 hours that week. So it ended up, as I looked at multiple years, because things switch, it ended up kind of being some years they're to the good and some years they're to the bad type thing. Like it changes enough.
I think what concerns me is a 3-day week, and that takes another day away from people being able to conduct their business,
Yeah.
and that concerns me.
Alderwoman, there are 3 holidays that always come on a Monday: Martin Luther King Day, Memorial Day, and Labor Day. Now, there are some that change. You know, Christmas is sometimes on a Monday. 4th of July is sometimes on a Monday. But there are three weeks persistently per year, and then probably, you know, one holiday, sometimes the others as well.
And they always get the day after Thanksgiving off, so that would be a Friday. So they lose out on that one in the new scheme.
That's correct. Any Friday that's off, they would lose out on.
What's your pleasure? I mean, do you want to vote? Do you want to table it? Do you want more data? Do you want it to go to the full council if we vote for more discussion?
I'd like to see more data, especially from the controller's numbers. Be honest, if we voted right now, I don't think it would pass. Just my guess.
Well, what I would say is I would just remind everybody we've tabled this before, and we can provide you updated information. For the sake of the staff, I would ask. They've been, ever since we discussed this more than a year ago, they've been asking about it constantly, and I would like to get this settled. We can make sure we provide you all more information and everything, but the information that we talked about for Fridays. But I would like to get it settled, and I would also just remind us that this is an advisory committee. So you either say yes, we want to we send this with a recommendation, or no, we don't send it with a recommendation. But it would go to full council either way. So that's why I would request that if you willing, you vote, even if it goes without a recommendation, that's fine. If it goes with, that's fine. But I just think it's important for us to make a decision for our staff because they feel like they're in limbo.
It's true that we're only advisory, but historically, I can't think of anything that got changed at the full city council from a committee.
Except the public finding out about it and really making it known to us.
That's true. This does give the public a chance to come to the city council meeting and say, why did you do that?
Or why aren't you open
Or why aren't
on
you
my
doing
lunch hour when I can come and pay my bills? Okay, roll call.
Vice Chairman Iverson,
I wanted to vote last. No.
Alderman O'Kane,
No.
Pashard,
No.
Wands,
No.
Wilson,
No.
Butler,
Due to the fact that it can be changed back, I can vote yes.
Chairman Poor,
Yes.
2 yes.
Okay, go forward to the full council next week without a recommendation. Okay, items of information, Comptroller, any items of information?
I'm trying to think if I have something. I don't, sorry.
Tax levy schedule, anything like that?
Sorry.
Tax levy schedule, budget, anything?
I'm working, the budget, I should have it, I'm definitely by first council in November, but trying to get it before that.
Okay. All right, so you had items.
I did have an item.
All righty, moving on to something we usually don't have. Item number 9, fire, Chief Marcotte. 9A is a resolution approving a professional service agreement for fire station facilities construction project. Need a motion and a second, please?
So move. Second.
Okay, Chief?
Yep, so what we're asking for tonight, I'm sorry, geez. So the last few months, we had an RFQ put out. We had 12 submissions for people wanting to do the fire station project. Internally, the fire department evaluated them, scored them, kind of ranked them. We got down to 4 that we think we like. But then what we're noticing is all these companies offer sort of different levels of service that they can provide, and that we don't really just have that expertise to sort through all that. We don't want to make a mistake out the door. So what we're asking here tonight is for this company to come in and help us. What this company would do is come in and they've worked with all of them before in the past. They can evaluate them. They would help us set up the proper RFPs for the future, if that would be the next steps. But help us question them or rank them, build a matrix for us to help us make that decision so that we kind of pick the right one out the door. So the best time to make a mistake is, early. It's the least expensive to do it now. So we think we need this company to kind of come on and help us get through that. Just we don't have the staff and the things like that to kind of give it that attention or the expertise. We haven't built a lot of fire stations, so that kind of expertise they do. So during that process, 3 companies of like this submitted. This is the one we kind of picked, sort of proximity, their expertise, their experience, all those kind of factors. So again, we're bringing this company in to help us sort of get to the next step, which is hopefully to deliver to you guys in the next few months, something that looks like this, that could kind of give you the scope of the project that we would be dealing with, what the schedule would look like, what the budget would look like, and the cost analysis of, the very preliminary cost of that kind of thing, so you guys can help make your decisions as we move forward.
Chief, this is a 40,000 and 5,000, not to exceed 5,000 for just the initial, right?
Not to exceed 40,000. Again, so part of the thing we've done a lot of that legwork, so we don't expect it to be at the higher end. We've already interviewed most of them. We've already tiered down. That would not be normal.
Not to exceed, yeah.
Yeah. And then the 5,000 is just what they said initially for expenses, for relatable expenses. So basically what they're going to do is bill by hour. So as we have meetings, like do the interviews with these architects and other firms, it's kind of based on who comes and how many. They'll have different rates in their proposal for what that cost is. So it's just basically at the end of the day, he said we would get it done and not to exceed 40. If we really drug it on and we really went long time, that'd be the max cost for this phase.
So project development services.
Yeah.
Alderman Butler.
So what we're saying is then that our engineer doesn't have the experience to take this through a feasibility of making a decision if the building is feasible or unsafe or.
Yeah,
I'm trying to understand this.
No, so this is currently we don't have a city engineer for one.
We don't.
No, yeah. Well, no, we have an assistant city engineer who's doing a bang up job, but we're still on the hunt for a city engineer.
Now, what do you mean a bang up job?
He's doing a great. Yeah, I guess that's probably poor choice of words.
Specific, man. Come on now.
A great job. Yeah, I couldn't toot his horn enough. He's doing
We're buying
great.
new trucks, didn't you see? We're buying new trucks.
Yeah.
But anyway, so basically though, we don't have, this is something outside of the realm of what we're typically doing. As far as the engineering staff that we have, we're doing more city infrastructure wise. This is more building project, that type of thing. So there is a different variance of expertise that is required for what this is. So we Mr. Childers and myself got together with Chief Marcotte and walked through, and we even advised, hey, this is probably something due to, one, our expertise, two, the time that's available to all of our staff to be able to devote to this. It's going to take a lot more than that, and it wouldn't take as much for someone that has the expertise to be able to do that. So I personally feel that this is money well spent.
Yeah, but our assistant engineer would be in on the conversation as well.
Yeah, different phases, different times when it's appropriate. Also, other people like Joe Claypool, things like that. When we're talking about those specific systems, things like that, there'll be different times where different players come in and out of this sort of. That's kind of these guys' role, is to make sure that those meetings are set appropriately and the right people are at the right place and the right time and everything.
Yeah, okay, because I feel that the more our engineer knows, the better he can be sufficient within the city as well.
One of the challenges we have, Mr. Butler, is that our newest fire station was designed in-house, and it has some of the most issues with leaks and water failures and other things going on. So especially if we're going to talk about doing a bond and spending tens of millions of dollars of taxpayers' money, we got to get it right. So to have some we need some expert help, number one, and number two, without us having a city engineer, all of our team is working well above what they're able to do, really. I mean, so we need some help. We got to get it right, and we just don't have the capacity to do it. They're smart enough to do it, and they're hardworking enough to do it. They just don't have any more room to do anything else. So.
Yeah, but that building's pretty old there, though. I mean,
It was
you
built.
got the older guys. I mean,
No, the one that was
presume.
built in the '90s when I was in high school or college has some of the one on Oak and Seminary has some of the biggest problem. That's our newest station, and it has some of the worst problems.
See light through the block.
Excuse me.
See daylight through the block.
Oh,
And I know as a mason, you
Well,
know.
Through the, through the expansion joint,
Well,
but that's
yeah.
what it called for. I built it.
Well,
well, what's wrong with preventive maintenance? I mean, do we ever do preventive maintenance on our buildings? And get a contract to come in and do some tuck pointing and stuff like that, painting, and work on the roof and stuff like that. I mean, who does that? I mean, who inspect our buildings?
Yeah. So we have a facilities and grounds manager. That's Joe Claypool. He started with us about a year ago, and we've put a lot more focus on building maintenance than ever before, and at least to my knowledge of what we've had going on. So we have quite an extensive preventative maintenance program, and that's for every city-owned building. And so anyway, that's what he does, and that's his focus. We've already had we had the Brightly. I don't know if you guys remember that coming across your desk, but they basically came in. It's a program, a preventative maintenance program that we're able to track expenses and track what needs to be done to gather data so that we can make decisions, wise decisions based on data and not based on opinion. But anyway, so with that, Brightly went through and did an assessment of every single building, including the fire stations buildings as well, and wrote up everything that needed done. And we've been working through those work orders and things of that nature. But also, they've done the whole feasibility study was the other side of things that I don't remember how long ago that was. Chief Marcotte could speak more to that, but.
Yeah.
And we also have added 2 building construction specialists, Mr. Butler, that all they do is go around, now that we have an assessment of an inventory of all of our buildings and the condition and a plan for it, that's all they do now is go around and make these repairs. So we are doing much more in terms of, we're fixing and doing a lot more preventive maintenance than we've done in years.
Yeah, because as I go by that one out there on English Street, and I know it has that tower there as well there. I mean, it looks like it's about ready to fall, and then you got the rain. I don't know how it's protruding between the blocks. I mean, I kind of wonder about the preventive maintenance. It's not being done.
Yeah, right now, currently, especially with all this going on, is we're kind of trying to balance which decisions are worth or what do we have to do for emergencies and prevent those kind of
that building there look as worse as the one on English Oak Street.
all right. Other questions, comments? Roll call, please.
Alderman O'Kane?
I just wondered, Chief, what's the time that they've given? How long are they going to take you to do this report?
Yep, so the good thing is like we had already contacted the 4 that we were considering, like for the architecture part of it. So they've all been put on notice. This company here said basically once we approve it next week, if we were to approve it, we could be kind of moving towards that the next week after that. So you figure maybe a month or so we could be back here again with the architect that we actually choose to do the programming. And then that's about an 8-week process, just as a...
And so after he do what he's going to do, I mean, what is the outcome?
It'll be something like this, which will just be sort of again, like this will be like the fire department will be working over the next several weeks. In that 8-week period, we'll be working with them to kind of scale down the appropriate size offices and all that stuff that goes with the fire station. There'll be a preliminary schedule in there that what it would realistically look like if you approve the money today and we start building. It would be this kind of schedule. It'll include all the a rough idea of the budget, but basically at its highest end, or it's because you really can't cost cut or anything like that until you get to where you're actually choosing materials or actually making the actual final architecture, and then the bidding process by the construction manager, whoever that would be. So that's that's when you really affect the budget. Versus this will just be sort of a large overview of what, based on the size and the scale of the buildings, of what it'll kind of look like. So which will just basically help the comptroller and the mayor decide.
This company's selecting the best architect for the
along with us,
for the project.
Yep.
That's what this company's hired for. To
make sure the contracts are right. Make sure we're comparing apples to apples. Because again, like these agencies offer different services, different things. It's been kind of confusing for us to understand. So this company will help us narrow in that focus and write those contracts, which are the sort of the big ones, so you don't miss anything important, and make sure that everything that everybody's telling us is something that's very similar. And they also have a construction side of it, so they'll know that architects and the builders can sometimes have different opinions about what the actual cost is too. So it's kind of like a bridge between those two to make sure that they're kind of giving us an accurate number.
And so once we go through all this feasibility, then so we're gonna tear down one and build, and tear down another and build. Or,
I don't.
I mean, we got
That's what
different
this study's
buildings.
for.
It'll give you an idea. Yeah,
Yeah, he will give us an idea of which building or.
Yeah. Well, it'll be basically a whole. This will be a version of the whole project. What we're looking for.
Okay.
Okay, roll call.
Alderman Kane,
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
Wands,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Butler,
Yes.
Iverson.
Yes.
Four,
Yes.
7 yes.
Oh, yeah. Chief, any items?
Nope. I'll probably have something else next week, maybe. But yeah.
Okay.
I got a question. We got him here.
Okay.
Is that study still available? I was gone last February.
Yes, I can get that. I can get you a copy of that. Yeah.
Okay.
Alrighty. Moving on to item 10, Director White, item information monthly report.
The only thing I have, David Schaefer, the bureau chief with IDOT, stopped by and seen me today. It was a surprise to see him, but an update to you, we're not any further along than what we were before he showed up. So I'm hoping to get this study started soon, so we can decide what the routes are going to look like, what we'll be doing and what Chris will be doing, but I wasn't really impressed with the conversation today.
Because Chris is running the show now.
Well, they will be.
Or they will be, and Bill's, and we have to determine what routes we're gonna do, because currently we provide some routes that Chris does.
They would be anywhere in the county, so we wouldn't go to Georgetown, Westville, as we know right now, but it could change a lot more.
Yeah, hopefully.
Hopefully not, but we'll see.
Okay. Alderman Butler?
Yeah, so I see some money involved in here. They haven't got paid yet, have they?
Who's that?
I mean, I see a budget here.
Budget.
DMT? Y'all must be missing something.
Nah, the only the money that's on there is the money we paid for the liability insurance.
The fleet insurance you're talking
The
about?
fleet insurance.
Yeah, we approved that last week.
Yeah, we approved that last week.
Gotcha.
I mean, I will say this, the only thing that is concerning to me is our ridership is coming back almost to where we was pre-COVID. So, my job is to service the citizens of this town, getting them from point A to point B. So, the mayor and I will definitely have a voice in, what the final decisions are, but this company will hopefully help us decide where we need to be and where we don't need to be. I think there's a lot of places we go that we might not have to be there as much, but I think there's a lot of places in this town that we could go and gain ridership and better the people of the city.
Thank you, Director. Okay, moving on to Public Works, Director Rui. We have 3 items I'd like to take together. They all deal with equipment. 11A is resolution approving the purchase and budget amendment for the 2025 forestry truck. B is resolution approving the purchase of the heavy-duty service body pickup truck. And C is resolution amending the purchase order to Kaufman's Truck Service and Towing for transmission repair on the 2008 International Workstar. If there's no objection, I'd like to take those 3 together. Need a motion in a second, please.
Second.
Okay. Dave?
Yeah, okay, so I'll run through all of these real quick. The tree truck is a purchase of a new tree truck. This is not something that was scheduled to be replaced quite yet. However, our current tree truck is down and is, I would say, repairable, but the amount of money that it will take to repair it is not worth repairing. We have spent a lot of money on our current tree truck.
That puts you at 200K.
Yeah, so in the past 5 years, I would say it's been down more than it's been operational, which is a huge problem for the fact that we own this for emergency response. So luckily, through the big storm last year, it ran the whole time and it ran great, did a great job. However, now we have a bent boom on it, and that's troublesome. So the funds, so because we went through the process and were able to receive the relief funds from FEMA from that storm, after talking to the mayor, we felt that this was a really good way of spending the money from the disaster relief funds from that storm, knowing that right now we don't have a usable tree truck at all. So we're gonna, we're not in a good spot as far as emergency readiness goes there. So we're proposing that we purchase a truck. We have listed not to exceed $80,000 or $180,000. However, we found one that's currently on a lot for $167,749. As long as when it passes, that truck is still available, which they've told us it is, but I have been let down before. That's why we have a not to exceed price, so that we're able to go get another one quickly, and we're not waiting too long. However, this one we have found to be a very good deal, and so that is the information on the tree truck. Scrolling down, the information on the heavy-duty service body truck, this is just a capital improvement plan item. Is already, so basically that capital improvement plan, it means it's already a budgeted item and just ready for purchase. So we've identified a truck. We've actually, this is the second truck we've purchased from this specific dealership. We have gotten multiple other prices from many other dealerships for the similar truck, and then also, as I did last year, we look into Sourcewell contract. What does it look like? This is actually a very competitive price with a Sourcewell contract, but we also are not waiting an entire year for a truck to be built just for us through a Sourcewell contract. So this one is also on the lot, and once again, they are holding the truck for us to purchase. And then the last one, we put in a purchase order for repair of the truck. Hold on, I'm scrolling down to it. We've already put in a purchase order for repair of the 2008 International, and after we basically put the purchase order in due to the estimate on the front end of that repair. After they got into it, they found some other items that needed to be repaired, and so it took it a little bit more than the original purchase order. So thus the reason we're coming back and asking for the addition, just to adjust that purchase order so that we're able to afford that purchase.
So that increased a couple grand, and that was for cracked transmission. Wasn't it cracked transmission housing?
I think so. So there are some things where I will be honest, I have weak points, and Carl comes in and talks, and he's an ex-mechanic, or not ex, he says that once a mechanic, always a mechanic. But anyway, he explained to me, and I was okay.
The power takeoff was broken, the transmission was cracked, and the flywheel housing was cracked. So I mean, those are cast parts that when they break, you can't weld them. You can't. I mean, so for $2,100, that's darn good price.
Is a tree truck what I think it is? It's the one that grinds up all.
So no, the tree truck, it has everything that gets ground, spits it into the tree truck for one, and then, but it has the big boom on it with a man lift that they kind of move around the tree and cut it down from the top.
And then there's another
that you have to grind
vehicle that grinds it out.
Well, you tow it.
Yeah, it's kind of a pull behind trailer that's a grinder. Or chipper, they call it, basically.
Some people go put people in there. Let's see, movies. Okay, Alderman Butler?
Yes, I noticed that you said that the boom was bent.
Yep.
A tree fell on it. I mean, did we have insurance on it, or is it too old for
So,
insurance?
well,
or what?
it's just the amount that's gonna take to repair it is, it's not worth putting into the truck. Basically, and no, from the sounds of it, we're not able to put in an insurance claim on it due to operator error.
Yeah, because what was that, 60,000 to repair it?
It was 65.
55,000 repair it, that'd make us have, what, the 144,000's already been put in it for maintenance over the years. That'd put it up at a $200,000 maintenance cost on that vehicle. And it is a 2000, what year was that?
I think it's
2008.
Yes.
So, I mean,
It was older truck.
so we have 3 to vote on. Any other discussion? Okay, roll call please on A, B, and C.
Alderman Pashard,
Yes.
Wands,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Butler,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
4,
Yes.
7 yes.
7 yes, thank you. 11D is a resolution amending the resolution 2270-76 and budget amendment related to professional services for demolition of Breezy Towers and the Vermillion Courthouse Annex. Need a motion and a second, please?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Who's doing that one?
Yep, so this is so Farnsworth, 2 years ago, we put in, so I think 2 or 3 years ago,
Probably 3.
Farnsworth put in, gave us an estimate, to, help assist us with, a few different items, and they left it very vague. The scope of work that we were asking them to do was extremely, bland and a lot of unknowns. So this is basically, now that we're getting to the point that we're ready to put the project out for bid, number one. 2, rates have changed in 2 years, obviously, a lot in what they're having to pay their people. And the scope that we're asking them to do has changed a lot as we've learned through the process of doing this, that we've asked them to kind of be the front line person for this. So they're serving the city in the capacity of being kind of that resident engineer on site as the building comes down, just to provide expertise and ensure that safety regulations are being followed and safety plans. So the contractors will be, they're gonna be providing safety plans. Farnsworth will be looking through those, approving those, ensuring that everything's coming down in a safe manner. They'll be helping us go through the proposals that contractors are providing. Obviously, contractors, different contractors are going to look at that building and think of different ways that they're going to bring it down, possibly. And so Farnsworth will help us go through those, look at the safety plans that they provide as well, and help guide us to the best possible, cheapest and safest solution in the mixture of the two. And then we'll, bring that to you. And then as we award the contract to a demolition contractor, Farnsworth will be on site a lot of the time, monitoring the process and ensuring that all of the regulations are followed and all that. So
June 21st of 22, it was 63,000. That was when the original, so we're up to 70, what was it? 77,000 now with, that's the updated scope of services cost.
Yep.
So we're just going from 63 to 77.
Yes.
So 14,000 mark. Which in almost 3 years is 2.5 years. Okay, anybody questions?
Well, you're comfortable if they'll push the job along?
Yes. Yeah, we have been in very, very, very close contact with them. Both Administrator Cronk and myself have been involved in many a meeting. We do feel like it's wise to have them involved. They've written a lot of things into the contract to ensure that the city's and the county's best interests are covered.
We've had no problem with them at all in the past on all the projects they've helped us with.
No. But my biggest scare is the inconvenience to the public on certain days.
Yeah, and that is very possible. That's why when the contractors provide their proposals, they'll provide safety plans, schedules, everything, so that we're able to look through and say, hey, our lowest traffic day is, whatever, Sunday mornings, so they're gonna do this portion of it on a Sunday morning, or, I don't know. We shall see.
And City Hall will have to be closed.
Possibly. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see what safety plans come up as. So.
Take the roof off the annex and just drop it down in between the walls.
Okay, questions? Okay, roll call please on 11D.
Alderman Wands,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Butler,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
Hoare,
Yes.
7 yes.
7 yes, thank you. 11E is a resolution accepting proposal for the comprehensive plan update and amending the fiscal year 24-25 budget. Need a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
Why do we have to do this? It's 2006, we just did it in 2006.
I feel like it's been years that we've been talking about this. So yeah, we finally have gotten a proposal. The biggest challenge that I've been working on this for years to try to find a consultant to help put this together for us. This 20-year comprehensive plan. They either wouldn't call me back, or we just didn't have a comfort level for the consultants we reached out to complete a plan of this nature, of this magnitude. I will tell you next week, this proposed consultant will be here providing a more in-depth presentation of what is involved in a comprehensive plan, what is it, how is it completed. But my high level for you guys tonight is essentially the services that you're going to be getting from this consultant that we have a high level of confidence in. We've worked with this consultant on 4 other occasions, and they produce some very, very high quality work, and we trust them at this point in time. So this 20-year plan, it's mandated by state of Illinois statute. In order for us to have a zoning code, we have to have a comprehensive plan. Outside of the comprehensive plan, that drives a future land use map. Most of you should have somewhat of a knowledge of a comprehensive plan and how important the future land use plan is on some prior dealings we've had for some zoning decisions. So every single time a special use permit or a zoning petition comes in, right now under our very outdated current comprehensive plan, we don't really have a whole lot of guidance on, because things have changed so much since 2006. This is the blueprint. This will be the document that will help guide us on what decision to make. Yes, it won't tell us every answer, but overall it will help the City Council and Planning and Zoning Commission make the right decision. This is going to be a 1.5 year long process, and everybody that wants to be involved will be involved, from the public, business owners, planning and zoning, and City Council, and also city staff. This is going to be Mumachu's big project here. So tonight, if you have any more specific questions, I'll try to answer them. If I cannot answer them, the consultant will be present on Tuesday to answer any questions. I know this is a big proposal, and there's a lot of potential questions for something like this. But if you have anything tonight, please let me know.
Well, then you're confident with option 1. I mean, the Place Essentials packet. I mean, that's what we're voting on, the 157 floor.
Yeah, that's correct. So that's a great question, because the other 2 options can definitely come afterwards. They will stem from the need of what's identified in the comprehensive plan. Will we need help rewriting our zoning code? For sure. It's a massive undertaking you don't want to get wrong. But those are not things that I believe that we need to have included right now. This is enough to chew on.
Yeah. So, I mean, because there's the other options available.
Yeah.
But you're adding a heck of a lot of money to it. But so the 157 for will get us what we need. And then we would just piggyback on any of those other services if we need it.
Completely separate projects, just stemming from this. Also, I will tell you, this funding was already encumbered in prior fiscal years. It came in as a budget amendment because it was encumbered last fiscal year. But however, since it was encumbered last fiscal year, we didn't know the amount because we didn't have a vendor. Once you dissolve that purchase order, that budget amendment that was created last year goes away, so we have to re-amend the budget. The money is already there for this. and encumbered last year. We just have to re-encumber it this year, this fiscal year.
Vice Mayor T.
My one question, as I was reviewing the timeline and deliverables, I noticed that it had a project initiation date of September 23rd. So if we take it to full council next week and we approve it next week, are we a month behind or have we already started?
I wouldn't look at it that way. That was whenever we originally started working on this proposal, and we've made a couple of changes to it. I don't think there is a behind.
Okay.
It's just we'd like to have it done in 2026.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then the different phases then obviously will get adjusted. Will we be getting adjusted dates as those?
Oh,
get
for
adjusted?
sure. Yeah, a complete updated schedule will come to City Council as soon as it's and hopefully signed. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay.
Excuse me, Chairman.
Yes.
I think number 4 should be 157,400. Might just want to mention that.
Yep. We'll make that change. Yep.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Alderman Butler.
And so, Logan, what you're saying here that then the state doesn't, when they update zoning and policies and procedures, they don't automatically send them down here for us to abide by their state laws, or do we have our own laws? Yeah, what?
So since we have our own zoning code adopted, we have to have a guiding document per state statute. They aren't provided by the state of Illinois to us. They are created by the city of Danville and guided by this comprehensive plan document.
And so we do abide by theirs. Now, does theirs ever supersede ours, that theirs more lenient than ours?
There are some zoning like signage laws that supersede ours, but very few. They just give home rule municipalities the authority to create zoning laws. And in order to create those zoning laws, we have to have this document. So no, they don't have their own zoning codes that we follow.
There's not a lot of communities in the state that have zoning.
You're right there. So now, then we make up our own zone.
Correct.
That's what you're saying.
Since we are home rule.
Using a comprehensive plan.
Yes.
And so now when we make up our own rules and zoning, does it coincide with the state as well?
The state does not give sometimes they give us guidance, like, for example, signage. But very few items do they give recommendations on how a municipality is to create a certain zoning code. There's just a standard precedent set across communities that they use, but the state doesn't tell municipalities how to write their zoning codes, typically.
And so do we make up zoning rules as far as depend on who the contractor is, or the location, or the areas is, or how does that work? I mean,
yeah, so zoning is not.
If it's already set in place, and and if it's right for one contractor, and certain areas, it should be okay there for all contractors.
It's land use.
Yeah, this is land use specific.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying.
Land use, not contractor use. It's land use.
Right.
The specific project has to work with that area and what it's zoned for.
Yeah,
right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So Mr. Butler, this is telling you like what you can have in certain areas, right?
Right.
Yeah,
I know that. Yeah.
It's you got to think of it as a large picture that has subunits to it. Like, for example, this plan might tell us that we need to pay more attention to South Gilbert because it's right on the interstate.
Right.
Well, what needs to go there and how does it need to be zoned?
Yeah.
Are we going to allow for 12-foot tall fences in the front yards on South Gilbert Street? Things like that.
Right.
Yeah. It's like we couldn't locate dispensaries in areas that were within 2.5 miles of a residential area.
Yeah.
That's what part of this.
Yeah, what direction is Lynch Road going to be after all the changes? That will be a part of this. What direction is Lynch Road gonna go? Do we need more hotels? Do we need restaurants out there?
Mm-hmm.
That's what this is going to guide us to do.
And this will incorporate all of our, what did we just do? not TIF districts, what did we just do?
Enterprise zone, yeah.
This will encompass all the enterprise zones, everything.
Yep.
But it's something that hadn't been done since 2006.
Correct.
So.
Yep. And hopefully this time around, they are intended to be constantly updated. I would say every 3 to 5 years. 5 years is pushing it to constantly change the language, so the city council knows what's going on in the plan. And cities change. The last plan wasn't updated very often. This one, it's our hope to create it so it can constantly be updated.
Yep. Other questions? Oh, but did that answer your question? That answer your question?
Yeah, right there somewhat, yeah. Thanks.
Okay, roll call, please.
Alderman Wilson,
Yes.
Butler,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
Wands,
Yes.
4,
Yes.
7 yes.
7 yes, thank you. Item of information?
Yeah, I got a few things just to follow up with a couple of items from last week's full council meeting. Number one, the Ms. Carroll from Veterans Assistance, we spoke with her. So they lease their building from the county, or their space, their workspace there. So the communications had gone through the county on what was going on in their parking lot. And that had already been done. However, I was able to contact her, explain to her what was going on. All is good there. So the entrance that got put in, that was a little bit further away from their building, that entrance is actually installed for their use. However, there's a little section of there's a little drop-off type thing that needs to be removed and replaced. That's getting removed and replaced here within the next few weeks.
The city cost, or?
Yeah. It's within that, yeah.
Okay.
So, and we're actually going to go ahead and do that in-house just to save ourselves some money there. And then also, we contacted the Vermilion County Animal Shelter. The deer that was complained about, that got picked up the following day. And the director was under the understanding that had already been picked up as well. Prior to that, the same as me. We were told that's what was going to happen. That didn't happen. She was apologetic about that. Sounds like it slipped through the cracks there, but we did. Our office and training manager, Tara Barrett, and myself actually had a meeting at the Vermilion County Animal Shelter this morning to discuss some of the ongoing things that came up in the complaints on Tuesday night. So we discussed through that. We feel it was a very productive meeting. We feel like we've gotten on the same page and we're in full understanding of expectations moving forward. So definitely feel like her last name is escaping me, but it's Miss Casey. Anyway, definitely felt like she is taking, was it?
Snyder, I think.
Okay. Definitely feel like she's taking big strides towards just really trying to make sure that we're serving our citizens and the community the best we can. So, and then lastly, just wanted to give a quick update. If you haven't seen through advertisements that the downtown demolition project right across the alley here is now that's what the official name of it is. But it's the Breezy Tower demolition, is now posted, and November 6th, I believe, is when the proposals will be, yes, November 6th is when the proposals will be coming in. So that's all the updates I've got.
Yeah. Anybody else from Public Works?
What about downtown? How we progressing?
They have everything milled up, and he can probably give a better answer, but it sounds like Tuesday we'll be doing asphalt.
The plan is to do asphalt on Thursday, Friday, and Monday, I believe, Director Rui. Yeah, they are prepping right now. When they milled, they removed a lot of the brick that wasn't there, and they have to do some patching, concrete patching on Hazel and Harrison, and so that delayed them a little bit to get the HMA, or the hot mix asphalt, down. And it's my understanding, yes, I think they're gonna start Thursday, Friday, and Monday, I believe is, and they'll finish it up. They'll be doing Madison, Harrison, and Hazel.
Loaded anything?
Yeah. If you didn't get the chance to go out to the ribbon cutting on the northwest side of Fairchild and Vermilion, it was great for Sonic and Jimmy John's. I guess the note that I wanted to make was, because you're seeing this quite frequently, is there was a lot of public dollars invested in that corner over a period of time, probably almost a decade, I would say, but very aggressively. Dollars were spent in the past 5 years. And it was painful at the time. How much are we spending for what? And I just want to show that this is what happens. It pays off like this. They're going to be investing somewhere around $4 million just up front. And I can only imagine how many millions in sales taxes for years to come the city of Danville will be generating from this. So I just wanted to kind of give an example on why we do this. So.
Is that TIF? Is that TIF district?
Yeah, that is Midtown TIF district.
So that'll increase value to put more money into.
It will be almost 100% increase in value on the property. So for the life of the TIF, 100%, almost 100% of the property taxes will be going straight back in the TIF district to be reinvested in the Midtown TIF district. Substantial.
Yeah. Alderman Kane.
Any news on the whole county across that intersection?
Oh, the First Farmers Bank side is what I call it. Yeah. So the state of Illinois and the US EPA, who don't actually work together, are trying to decide on what regulation to use on our action plan. So that's the step that we're at right now, is they need to come to an agreement on a regulation snafu. Once they come to an agreement, they will hopefully approve our action plan, and there will be a large hole dug in the ground, hopefully within the next year.
Oh, that far off?
I believe so. The grant, we have 2 to 3 years to complete it. We're not going to go that this is not us. We were hoping to have the hole dug this year.
We're losing value of the money.
Oh, for sure. So I will keep you posted as soon as they approve that action plan. You'll see publications from us. We'll have to go out for more items in the future. So we're hoping things speed up. I get it. We're hopefully, Mamuchu, correct me if I'm wrong, in the spring we'll have something done out there.
Anybody else? Item number 12, closed session. We don't need to go into closed session.
Well, why you hesitate?
Item 13, any item of information from the committee?
Yeah, our Holiday Hills Association meets this Thursday night at 1700 Bowman, which is the Faith Ministries Church, I think it is called now. The parking will be in the back of the church. It has a circle drive-through off of Bowman back to Holiday, and it's going to be a full-blown salad bar. We're trying to accommodate the mayor. We know he's been eating right, and the ladies came up with the salad bar.
I was looking forward to the goodies. I was going to cheat that day.
But you're not going to get it this week. So it's Thursday night at 6 o'clock, and like anyone that wants to come out. I know we listen to the mayor a lot, but you can hear some of the questions that my area will be asking. I'm sure they got their questions already written down, but it's always a good time. It's always a good time. Last week after the casino, we had 4 aldermen show up over there last week.
Did you have food?
Pardon?
Did you have food?
Yeah.
Oh, well, see, they ate hors d'oeuvres, didn't get filled up, and then had to come and get more.
Sure. Yeah. Them girls feed good.
All righty. Anyone else? Alderman Butler.
Yes, on last night, I think we had the meeting last night, and I appreciate our chief for being there, representing our city as well, and it was a very good informational meeting. And we learned a lot, and there's a lot that myself and the Vice Mayor was there as well. But there's a lot as well that we all need to do, continue to do in the city to make our city better. Better communication, better relationships, so that Danville could get rid of that name as little Chicago or Sin City. Also, I'd like to thank Jackson Street. It's beginning to look good, and it had all that gravel out there, and I know y'all see Miss Pickering all the time that she come through there honking at me down there by Northridge, and I thank the policeman. That they sit in the lot as well, and he noticed that the cars going by me too fast. And Mr. Butler, I saw the dust all around you, and I'm glad that y'all got it done. And of course, he stopped about three cars there that week. From speeding, going 39 and in a 20-mile zone, speed zone. So really appreciate that. I am very concerned about some of our morale within our city, as well as public works. And so since I'm on the Public Works Committee, if I have to put on a hard hat, I'd like to kind of make some visitations, and just going in and to greet the guys, and try not to stop them from working as well, and watch them go out to the cars, and there's some things that I've been told, and I'm gonna just be a little nosy.
Yeah,
And,
we'd welcome anybody to come out.
Yeah, right. And
hang out. Yep.
That's what I'm gonna do, and because I have some concern, and I'd like for all of us to be on one accord, just like one happy family working together, and because I believe that we don't have no too many eyes or what have you, and so we just need to kind of get along together, and I'm just kind of upset about one of our workers, the guy that I've known for years, was let go. So it's sad that happened, and that we couldn't just work things out. And our guys are here to work. If we don't make friends, I mean, we're here to do a job and do our job well and get along with everybody. And so that's going to be my plan in my busy schedule.
Yep, we'd invite you out there.
All right, appreciate it.
I'll come too, but I need a hard hat to match my nails.
I don't know if I can make that happen, but
they don't have no pink.
And I need steel toe flip flops.
I do believe Miss Corson does have a pink hard hat. I do believe. Yes, she does.
Uh-oh.
We might be able to borrow one for you.
Oh, shucks now. Oh, girl, you in the house.
Okay, anybody else?
Mine's in comments. The elevator, what's the issue with the elevator, and any idea when it might be fixed?
Well,
Alderman O'Kane and I were gonna say, the meeting has to be upstairs because we can't get down.
Mr. Lane, if you'll recall, Mr. Lane told us a few years ago that it was 5 to 7 years. Well, we are right at 6. We've ordered parts. They were supposed to be in already. Otherwise we would have changed venues if they aren't. Pardon?
They were here today.
Oh, they did. Okay, good.
I mean, I don't, it's not fixed, but they were here working on it.
Because you got the parts.
If it's not ready by next week, we might have to change the venue.
Yeah, because we're not ADA without that, are we?
We can't be, unfortunately. We're temporarily. We're doing everything we can. Their parts are ordered. They're here. Hopefully, it'll be fixed soon.
Yeah, when we saw the sign, we said, wow, we've been expecting that for, like you said, for years.
Yeah, right. Will your church have an elevator?
No, we're not here.
So,
We got
old elevators are getting harder and harder to repair. Okay, having satisfied the agenda, need a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.
Thanks.